guys. Good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you on Inspirations for Your Life. This evening, it is July 30th, 2025, and tonight is Wednesday. It's our very last Wednesday for July 2025. We won't have any more Wednesdays until July of 2026. Incidentally, I do want to thank you. If this is your first time coming to the Inspirations for Your Life show, well, a big thank you to all of you. And if you're coming back to the show, well, of course, a big thank you to you as well. We put on content all the time here. If you miss the content, you can always go to believemeachieve.com. That is after the show because you don't want to miss the show. And our master topic for the week, which we always start up on Saturday and we end up on Friday, is the power of connection. And tonight's granular topic is a real doozy: spiritual connection, finding meaning beyond words. Series 4, Show 31, and episode number 5. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're maybe hungry, or maybe you are, thirsty or something, feel free to go get you some water. I've got some RO water right here. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to get a snack or something. Whatever works for you. Come on back, whether it's healthy, whether it's tart, whether it's sweet or not, that's totally up to you. So let's go ahead and kick this show off, all right? All right, so again, a big welcome to everyone. Welcome back to another powerful, awe-inspiring, packed episode of the Popular Inspirations for Your Life podcast. I am your host, serial entrepreneur, podcast coach, graduate student, writing specialist, member of the United States Press, and also authorized and certified video producer and director. So really great to be with everyone here, and of course, an engineer. And tonight I'm diving into a topic that impacts every business, every team, and every leader: how to unlock motivation and build a thriving, inspired workplace. Whether you're a CEO, a team leader, or someone striving to create positive change around you, this episode is loaded with actionable insights you can implement today. So let's turn your workplace into a launchpad for, let's say, creativity, collaboration, and unmatched performance. Are you ready? Let's kick it off. Number 1, recognize before you reward. I know so many people that they just want a reward to be nice, but why do you reward somebody if they haven't really done anything to be worthy of that? Motivation often begins with something deceptively simple: recognition. People crave to be seen, heard, and valued. When you acknowledge the effort of someone, it puts in some importance of theirs, and you're fueling their inner drive more than any bonus or plaque could ever do. Recognition should be personal, timely, and sincere. The 3 keys to making someone feel truly appreciated. Learn how to create a culture where praise flows authentically, and often watch your team rise to the occasion with new heights that you didn't even know were possible by them. Number 2, create purpose, not just tasks. You're not here to create busy work for people. Too often employees feel like cogs in a machine or a wheel. That's because they're assigned tasks without a purpose. Do this, do that. If you want motivated team members, connect their daily actions to the larger mission. When people understand the why behind the what, their energy changes and it gets supercharged. In this episode, I'm going to show you how to craft narratives and meanings around everyday responsibilities that transform duty into drive. So when we think about, the fact that we want to give somebody a thank you, or, it could be the fact that they did the simplest thing right. When you praise that, like, hey, Joe, thanks for taking the time. I really love the way you got everything stacked so neatly. Or I love the way you ordered everything. And it could be something very simple, but maybe the fact that you express that to them is now going to get them to transform. Or like I was in the hospitality industry, maybe it's something like, hey, John, thanks so much for staying late tonight. We had a very, let's say a skeleton crew, and I really do appreciate you helping us out tonight. That goes a long way. All right. Number 3, lead by example, not by position or the title that you have been given or that you've earned. People don't care what title you have. People don't care what you think you are. Doesn't matter to people. True leaders don't bark orders. They embody the values, your attitudes, habits, and your communication style. It sets the tone for the whole team. So, guiding you through how to become a living blueprint of the behavior you want to see in others is easy. When you lead with integrity, empathy, and consistency, your team doesn't just listen, they follow willingly. I always say, you have to talk the talk and walk the walk. So many people will be saying one thing, but then they actually don't live that way, or let's say run their business in that fashion. Again, when you lead with integrity and empathy and consistency, your team just doesn't listen because they have to. They do because they want to, and willingly will achieve, your plans. Number 4, guys, celebrate wins. Big and small wins. I've talked about this before because it's so important that we understand what it means to celebrate a win. Okay? I think that's a very, very important thing. If we can understand what that means, then I think you might get more of an understanding. Okay? And that understanding is about the fact that people do things because, they feel like it. When you bark orders to somebody and you haven't first developed, let's say, rapport. Rapport is something you need to do right out of the gate. You can't expect somebody to follow you when you haven't even gotten to know them. I'm not saying you have to know everything about them, but they got to feel comfortable around you. Let me give you an example. I'll take the dentist for an example. This is a really good one. So we all go to the dentist. Hopefully we do, right? We go twice a year. Sometimes people go less. Sometimes people go more. You should go at least twice a year. And also take care of your teeth outside the dentist, right? That's important. So for the very first time I went to the dentist, I always remember that I need to form some type of bond with that person. Because, you're putting your mouth pretty much in their hands, right? That's a very vulnerable part of your body. And maybe you have some questions. Maybe, you're unsettled about something. And so let me tell you the quick story. So I went to a dentist that I've been going to for a long time. And the person that I always had clean my teeth, the hygienist, it was after COVID, and she wasn't there anymore. She left to start her own business or something. The COVID thing kind of scared her away, even though they were following all these procedures. Well, I remember they gave me this lady. I forget her name. I'm just going to call her Mary for argument's sake. That wasn't her name. So anyway, I went to see Mary. She was very nice. And I said, "Oh, where is such and such?" Like, "Oh, she's out today. She's out. I'm a temp." Now I didn't know that the person had left because she didn't really know that she was a temp. So when I heard the word temp, I'm like, okay, this is a person that I'm going to work with, and I might not feel comfortable with them because I know they're a temp, and they also may not give me the most personalized and caring service because this person may never see me again. But I decided to give it the benefit of the doubt and say, they're professional and they're probably going to do a good job. Well, I kid you not. After the person started, scaling my teeth with the tool, the water plaque remover, I remember my mouth feeling very tired. And I hadn't taken any worse or better care of my teeth. I always floss once a day. I use my water pick brush, and then after I brushed, I hit the button, and then I brush again with the water jet, right, going in and out so they can go between my teeth. And when that dental cleaning was over, first of all, I was praying for it to be over. The lady was like a truck driver. I mean, the way she was taking my mouth, like my mouth felt like it needed like a massage afterwards. And I got out of the chair and I said thank you. I was very polite. I went to the front desk, got my paperwork, and I left. And I let them know that I'm not happy with this person. They said, well, John, that's what we have. I said, okay, I understand. Well, I'm not going to be coming back. So I reached around for some other people that do dental services, not too far from where I live in my town. This was actually a lot further from my town because it was closer where I used to live. And so a lot of these people, I don't know, I didn't get this feeling that I was going to be treated very well. I felt like I was going to be treated like a number. First of all, their rate was like double. So I thought that was kind of crazy. I think it was a month or so later, I called her back. I said, I just want to be honest and let you know, why I'm not coming back anymore. She goes, what happened? I said, well, I told your assistant to let you know that, I was not happy anymore. You had this lady, Marion, and I thought my mouth was going through a truck wash or something. And she's like, oh, my. And so she let me know that they're working on finding somebody else and she would call me back. And they did. But they did the same thing to me again. They had somebody come in there. There was a temp. And I said, oh, boy. And I said, please do not give me another temp. Now, this visit went okay, but I do not want a temp. Okay. I want to get to bond. I want to get to know who the hygienist is. Maybe you're thinking I'm crazy, but I want that kind of rapport. I want to know that when I'm in the chair, that I'm going to feel easy about the person, that I can trust that person. That's not something you just get when you come into the dental office the first time. You don't really have full trust for that person, right? So I wanted to share that story because I think that's a very, very important thing. We talk about celebrating big wins. You have to celebrate the big wins and the small wins. See, motivation thrives where momentum is celebrated. Whether your team landed a major client or just wrapped up a difficult week, take time to mark the victory. When you celebrate progress, you activate the dopamine responses in the brain, turning achievement into an addiction. I can walk you through a creative way to make a celebration part of your culture. From the micro moments to monthly rituals. So let's say, for example, it could be somebody's birthday, right? And if you're going to do birthdays, you have to make sure you just really want to get their month and day. You don't need the year. And you do birthdays. So let's say 5 people have birthdays that month. You have a day when maybe you have cake for everybody in that month, right? And it gets them to feel kind of like a family. When somebody, let's say, closes a sale or something, or maybe there's a referral coming from a client, or maybe somebody just calls and just says, hey, they're really happy with the way that person treated them or took care of them. That's another time for celebration. When your team knows that you celebrate the good things, they want to celebrate. They want to do more good things. They want to feel that dopamine. They want to feel that natural high. And I think so many people in life want to go through the motions. They don't want to enjoy the process. Is it because they're lazy? No. Is it because maybe they're uncomfortable? Yes. Uncomfortable with what? Maybe they feel vulnerable. Maybe they feel that, they don't deserve to celebrate. Maybe they are afraid how other people are going to treat them. So I think it's important that when you put these things in place, like you can have the birthday celebrations, you can have the team celebrations, like things like, when a certain sales team does something, or maybe when, let's say, a client or customer calls back or gives a review because of something that person did. That's a time for celebration. Maybe an employee comes to you and gives you a recommendation that should be taken, or it could affect the company's productivity or their reputation. That's another time to celebrate. That means that the person that's coming to you sees you as a value, and they trust you. They trust you. And I think that's a very trust does not get built in 24 hours. Now, I have a lot of people that ask me this, John, and I think it's a very, very good question, but it's not an easy question to answer. Here's the question, guys. How long does it take to build trust with someone? That's a loaded question. So it depends. I know you don't want to hear that. Initial rapport can form within minutes or hours, especially with openness and shared values. So one thing I always educate my team to do, whether it's a sales team or anyone else and they're going to visit someone, I tell them to pay particular attention to the person's desk when they go in to see them. Usually their office is a little bit personal, what they've got on there. And I tell them just to note what's on their desk. If they see like a picture of a person reading an award, or maybe they're golfing, like I'm a golfer, I'm like, hi, Jim. Or, hey, Jim, I didn't realize you were a golfer. Yeah, I'm a golfer. Actually, so have I. Where did you play? That looked like an amazing course. And so you have a conversation, and pretty soon you bonded over that. And now they feel like you're just like them, right? They feel comfortable with you. So basic trust, we call it the acquaintance level, 2 to 4 weeks of consistent, respectful interaction. Deeper trust, friendship, or work level trust could be 3 to 6 months. That means that the person you're with actually is someone you know that's going to respect your behavior and you are theirs. You know you can trust them because they're going to be honest. They might tell you things you don't want to hear, but you know they're not trying to hurt you. You also know that there's emotional safety. If you share something, it's a safe space. I remember being in a group, everybody says, is this a safe space? Yes. Meaning that we're not going to judge or attack people because of what somebody says. You have to make sure that your team knows that they can express feedback and that they're completely safe. And that's something you want. Strong trust, 1 to 2 years of consistently showing integrity, support, and even opening up with a little vulnerability. What can speed up? Although you really don't want to speed up. Being transparent. I love the one some people says, let me be truthful with you. Or let me be honest with you. So I come back when they say that, I'm like, so you mean to tell me you were lying all the rest of the time? No. So you know what I mean. A shared experience. Like I told you, the golf thing, right? That was a really good one. Active listening. I go in to see a client and maybe they're having a challenge with their technology. And I just listen and say, hey, Jim, so tells me about his problem. He's in a lot of pain from it. Well, Jim, I see you've got a slight dilemma here. Is this something that you want to fix? If he says no, I shake his hand. I say goodbye because I don't want to waste time with somebody, nor do I want to pressure anybody. So shared experiences. Maybe you went to the music park. Maybe you went to the same college or same degree or whatever it is. Maybe you were on the same team in high school. Maybe you were in the same class, right? Homeroom, right? These are important things. Active listening means that I am going to listen to you. I'm not going to be fuddling with my phone. Oh, that sounds really good. What are you doing? Like, that's just so rude. Really, really rude. So don't do that. That's my big one. So transparency, shared experiences, active listening. Okay, that means you're not trying to input a question. You want to listen to everything they're saying. If you make a promise to somebody, definitely follow through. I always tell people under promise and over deliver. I do that a lot in business. I under promise for what I know we can deliver, and then if we do more, great. But I don't want to promise that level. And then people are happy when they get more. Vulnerability. So maybe you have something you did that you're a little bit ashamed of, or you're scared to tell. You've been talking to this person. It's like, so you don't have to let the biggest vulnerability out. Maybe you can start something simple like, oh yeah, when I was younger, I did this. We were playing ball in the house. Speaking about basketball or sports, I remember the time when we came home with some friends and we were never supposed to play ball in the house, but threw the ball and it was a Nerf ball and well, let's just say between myself and my friend, we took my mom's very prized vase into like 4 pieces. And then to top it all off, that night, my dad brought fresh flowers home. She asked me to go get that vase that I just finished gluing together. And the glue really didn't dry enough. It was only a few hours. And at the dinner table, the water just spurt out. And we're putting our finger right over the thing. It's like another one's like, Mom, yeah, Kevin and I were in the house today, and it's something I probably should tell you. We were playing ball, and it was just Nerf ball, and I actually didn't catch it. I missed it, and the vase went on the floor. And maybe your friend was like, I'm sorry, Mr. Morley, I want to let you know that John did not want to play ball in the house. Like I told him, come on, let's just do one shot. So I take full responsibility. I'm like, well, no. I mean, I was the one that caught the ball. Yeah, but I kind of twisted your arm to play. That's a good friend, right? That's a good friend. So I think that's important to note. And then that person's going to share their vulnerability. So if you were trying to bond with somebody, you told, like I was telling the story, right, to somebody like, oh, you know what happened when we just graduated high school? Know what happened, or your college? Our story is a little different. We actually wound up, let's say, doing something wrong, like we plugged them in the wrong way, and we wound up damaging my dad's priceless grill that he only uses like for special occasions. And then when we tried to fix it, the next time he tried to start the grill, he couldn't start it. And so he was like, does anybody have any explanation of why I can't start the grill? Is there propane in the tank? That's a good joy. We'll check the propane. And your friend was over too. Yep, his friend was over. And finally, they had to come fast and said, look, we were basically trying to get something, and we needed this hose. So we took the hose from the tank and we put it back. But when we put it back, unfortunately, let's say the fittings kind of stripped a little bit. So we just left the tank off. And that vulnerability point, should be of something either that or a little bit more. And then you might share another story, right? You don't want to share the story that was like your worst. Factors that can slow down this trust building process: mixed signals, broken promises, manipulation or judgment. See, trust isn't built in a moment. It's built moment by moment. Let me say that again. Trust is not built in a moment or even a second. It's built moment by moment. Could be a friendship, could be dating, could be a coworker. And maybe you want to be this person's friend so badly. I remember this situation, well, probably over 10 years ago. There was a person in my community that I wanted to be friends with. But the person had this very, let's say, type A personality that he really didn't want to talk to anybody. And our association had a meeting, and we went there. And when we had the meeting, I remember asking him because the meeting was boring. And I said, I'll call him Chris. That was his name. Hey, Chris, listen, I play pool, and I was looking for somebody to play pool with. Would you be interested? And he goes, yeah, John, here's my number. Don't ever call me. Just text me. And we became good friends. We bowled. We did pool a couple times a week. But then because the friendship wasn't truly based on integrity, mine was. His wasn't. He was just looking for something to do to pass the time until he knew he was going to move out in a year. And to this day, whenever I see him, usually on the highway or something, he sees me, he'll go past me like 125 miles an hour. Because he knows that he did me wrong. I've forgiven him and all that stuff, but that's an example of somebody, let's say, exploiting a friendship. Another time that people exploit is when, well, they do things just because you have things. Could be money, could be tickets. I remember when I was younger, and my dad always had tickets to the Yankee games. And we would have tickets not just to a regular seat. We'd have tickets to box seats where they provide food and everything. And I remember a couple of my friends, when they knew my dad had seats, even to the football games, they would all be really nice to me around the season because I could pick one or two friends to go with me. But then you know what happened? These people changed on Monday morning. Like, they had no interest in even, like, being around me. And that's terrible. Really terrible. And I think if we can understand that connections are all around us, right? Spiritual connections, it doesn't have to be religious, but it can be. The spiritual connection is how we, let's say, connect with the world. And how we relate to our bodies as being living, and how we believe that there's spirit in us. I know some people may not believe that. I get it. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to end there tonight. I think that's a great place to end. I want to end with, gratitude isn't just feel-good fluff. It's neuroscience-backed productivity tools. And a team that consistently hears thank you feels more connected, less stress, and more willing to go the extra mile. Why don't you give that a try with your team? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. You check out BelieveMeAchieve.com, and I'll catch you real soon. Be well, everyone.